In my Stephen Tries Street Shows video, I asked you guys if you'd like to hear some stories about my adventures into the world of street performing, and the response was a very large yes. Don't even know if very large, that's not grammar, is it? So today I'm going to tell you about the time I thought I was going to get punched in the face by another performer. Should probably mention now, I didn't get punched. Didn't hit me at all. I just really thought I was going to. I'm going to change the name of the person in this story so I don't get sued. Backstory, I'd been performing at this pitch for a few weeks, and this guy, I need a name, I need a bully. What's a good name for a bully? Hold on. Good names for bullies. Yahoo answers to the rescue. Brady. I don't know any Bradys. Let's go with Brady. Brady had been bullying me for a few weeks. He's a pretty well-built guy, quite intimidating to say the least, and he would just say stuff to me like, take a day off, he'd call me greedy, he'd basically try and intimidate me in any way that he could. Definitely not the kind of guy that I'd want to get in a fight with. I was always polite to him, I didn't want any drama, and even one time after we had an argument, I bought him a sandwich in a gesture of goodwill. And let me tell you guys, if buying a sandwich doesn't win someone over, nothing will. It was a really good sandwich as well. At this pitch, the rule is that you've got 40 minutes to perform as many shows as you like in that time. Then there's like a 5-minute switchover time between acts, and then the next person has 40 minutes, and so forth, so forth. To keep things moving, you want to switch over as fast as you can, so there's no dead time throughout the day where people could be performing. So a lot of the time, performers are setting up their stuff, their speaker and everything, ready just to take it on and begin their show as soon as the other act is finished. So Brady and his crew had done their shows, and they'd actually overrun 5 minutes, and it was my turn to go on next. So I pick up my speaker, walk over, and put it down on the floor. I want to point out here that this is totally normal routine, and I wasn't stepping on their toes or bringing my stuff on early before they'd finished. I waited for them to be done, then I moved my stuff on. And then he immediately walks over, picks up my speaker, walks off and puts it back on the wall. When he was doing this, I was just saying, mate, what you doing? Mate, what you doing? What you doing? It's my turn. Just in a really calm, like confused manner. He completely ignored me and didn't even acknowledge my existence. And honestly, he had this kind of crazed look in his eyes. He didn't look like he was in a great mood. Now let me just clarify for a second. If I were to touch Brady's stuff, he'd snap me in half. You just don't do it. He then goes over to his crew and they discuss the idea of doing another show. I managed to get the attention of one of the guys and explain that they're actually overrunning 5 minutes and it's my turn to go on. They quickly have a little bit of a chat, and then Brady turns around to me and he goes, all right, do your show. Brady does have principles when it comes to street performing, which he breaks often, but just doesn't realise he's breaking them. So as soon as he realises he is actually overrunning, he is then prepared to go, okay, it's whoever's turn is next. Now at this moment, I could have just gone on and done my show. My day would have been a lot smoother, everything would have been a lot simpler, but I didn't. I knew that if I let him just move my stuff without saying anything, then it would happen again, and I would just get walked over. So I went over to Brady and tried to say something along the lines of, hey man, you didn't need to move my stuff, you could have just talked to me and said, oh, we still got time and we could have chatted about it, I would never touch your stuff. But every time I started this sentence, he immediately cut me off and just went, just do your show, really aggressively. Now, I'm pretty good at keeping my cool, but there is nothing more infuriating than when a person is cutting you off when you're trying to get one simple sentence out. The way he saw it was, I didn't realize I was overrunning, now I have, just go do your show, it's your turn. The way I saw it was, it's not about overrunning, it's about the fact you moved my stuff and completely ignored me and just weren't showing me any respect. And when I started to say this, he went from 0 to 100 really fast, and he was shouting in my face. He was this close to me, screaming in my face. He was shouting, just do your show, just do your show, but like 10 times more aggressive than I'm being right now. And at this point, I just snapped. Those weeks of bullying and intimidation had just really built up, and I was done. So I flipped out and started yelling back at him. Some performers started yelling as well, or they tried to break up the argument, and at one point Brady's fists were really clenched and he just looked so fuming. I was sure he was going to punch me in the face. But by this point, I was past caring. I was basically ready for him to hit me. But I was thinking if he does that, it'll be the last thing he does, because he won't be allowed to perform anymore if he assaults someone on the street. Then the police came over, and honestly, I have met a lot of really nice and really helpful police officers that have helped me out of some difficult situations when performing. So I mean no disrespect to the police when I say this, but this officer that came over might as well have just said to us, play nice, kids, because whatever he said was just so unhelpful. It was, oh gosh, it just made the situation worse. Eventually the argument escalated to the point where Brady just shouted, just do your show. And I was shouting back, I can't do my show. I'm so damn stressed right now. There's no way I can perform. And I packed up my stuff and I stormed off. Playing back the situation, I probably should have stayed, cooled myself off and done the show anyway. But hey, my emotions were running so high and I was so close to bursting into tears this whole time. And I wasn't sad at all. I was just infuriated. I didn't even know that being so angry that you could cry was a thing, but I was on the brink of angry crying and it very much is a thing. So I left, went and stood, composed myself, friend came over and then we went and got a coffee and I just tried to chill out a little bit. I then decided to take the rest of the day off and go home. But I knew that the next day I had to go back. If I didn't go back, he'd essentially won and I would be showing like a great deal of weakness, I guess, and it just wouldn't put me in a good spot for the future. So I knew I had to go back the next day. I just didn't want to. I was dreading it. So I got up, procrastinated for a bit and decided to go in for about 2 p.m. A little bit later than I normally go in, hoping that there'd be a load of other performers there that would help diffuse any potential tension. So I got off the tube, headphones in, and went and got myself a muffin. No, that's a bit of a weird detail, but I got a muffin purely so I could eat it whilst I was at the pitch. My thinking was, nothing says, I don't give a like a man sat there eating a muffin. Great logic, I know. Whatever, made me feel better at the time, okay? I get to the pitch, holding my muffin, and to my horror, the only performer that's there is Brady. No crew, just him doing a show. So I go and sit down on the wall, start eating my muffin, and then he does this thing. He's done this thing quite a lot to me, but he does this thing where he does like a double take to acknowledge that I'm there, but in a really disgusted way. It looks something like this. I pretend that I haven't seen him do that, and then he says to the audience, you meet some horrible people in this business, you meet some really horrible people, which is such an unprofessional and just a terrible thing to say. It's alright, chilling, me and my muffin, I'm in my zone, I'm ignoring him, I've not heard him as far as he's concerned, just eating my muffin. He eventually finishes his show, I wait till he moves all of his stuff off the pitch, and then I pick up my speaker, go and put it down, start unpacking my stuff and getting ready, and then I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and he's right there, and then he says to me, sorry about yesterday, I was a little bit in the head, you know, I was just really up. But I was trying to say sorry and you just weren't listening to me. I was just trying to let you do your show and you just weren't listening to me. I was totally shocked by this apology and I just said something along the lines of, yeah, look, we both got a bit heated, doesn't matter, water under the bridge, let's just work the pitch. And that was it, smooth-ish sailing with Brady from then on out. Let me know in the comments how you would have handled this situation. What should I have done differently? What would you have done if you're in that situation? I'd love to know. I'll see you next week with another magic video.
Thank you.